If you use any popular art program, it's incredibly easy to find and download large brush packs. Getting and trying out new brushes is a fun pastime for me, and while I have separated out only my most favorite brushes to use on the regular, I still have trouble keeping it to a minimum. This folder has about 20 brushes in it, and I would hate to part with any of them. If you're a brush hoarder like me, I have some recommendations and advice that will hopefully help. First, here are some reasons why using a lot of different brushes in the same painting is not the best idea. For one, using a lot of wildly different brushes can look messy. Here are some brushes that I really like, but using all three of them in the same painting is difficult to pull off because they are each so stylistically different. If you create a full illustration with just, say, one or two brushes, there will be a very clear cohesiveness to it. It also slows down your flow and process if you are constantly changing brushes. Not stopping to scroll through your brush list and instead just focusing in with one is very efficient. But of course, you might be like me and don't really want to cut down your list of regularly used brushes. Lucky for us, there are workarounds. Start by choosing a primary brush, one that you will use a majority of the time. This brush should be very multi-purpose and generic, a basic and hard-edged shape that can be used to paint just about anything. Something like a round or square brush with pressure opacity is a good choice. If you're having a hard time choosing what brush this should be, paint, or in the case of looking for a line brush, draw the same subject with your different options, and then pick whichever you most enjoy the process and resulting look of. Then, for the other brushes you have, try assigning them different roles. Maybe you have a brush with a nice texture that can be used on top of what you've made at the end of your process. Or separate brushes by what area of your painting they are used. What I've started to do pretty recently is using my more rough, painterly looking brushes for my backgrounds, then sharper brushes for the middle ground and foreground. This makes the stuff in front feel extra in focus. I think of how so much 2D animation puts sharp, clean characters on very painted looking backgrounds, and it works surprisingly well. If they can do this so dramatically and it looks good, then there's no reason you can't do something similar. You can also be a little crazier with these painterly background brushes, using some that add random splatters, or are for specific uses like leaves and clouds. Another option is for those who use multiple different styles, to take advantage of being able to use different brushes for each. I use this brush for more cartoon style drawing, lettering, and YouTube thumbnails, but I rarely use it in my paintings. I know I haven't given an exact number of brushes you should be using, and maybe you hoped I would, but since there is no exact rule you have to follow, all I can give is a recommendation, and then leave it up to you to decide. Around the 3 to 5 range works well for me, and that might increase if whatever I'm painting calls for a lot of specific use brushes. And it's not necessary, but you could have a lot of fun creating your own cohesive brush set that includes a range of basic to specific use brushes, all sharing a similar style. That way, your brushes are already designed to look good together, and as a bonus, are also unique to you. I don't have a video on making brushes yet, but plan to hopefully soon. Here's a video with links to where you can find brushes and other cool resources. Thanks for watching!